Hi friends, today we are going to discuss VRF basic setup lab with OSPF routing protocol. Okay, so VRF is nothing but virtual routing forwarding. So basically to maintain the separate routing table in the routers, we use VRF concept. Okay, here you can see we have a two type of domains, production or development. Okay, so we have for example two customers also we can say, or two departments or we can say. So if you have two departments, production and development, and if you want to maintain the separate routing table in the routers for each and every department, so by using this VRF, we can do this. Okay, basically I'm taking four pieces here. PC1 and PC2 are in development network, and PC3 and PC4 are in production network. Okay, here are the IPs you can verify, and I will show you. So the PC1 is configured IP address. These are the commands, and you can see the configuration here. So 192.168.1.10 and gateway is 1.192.168.1.1. So this should be configured on router 1. Okay, so like this I have configured PC1, PC2, PC3 and PC4. Okay, so whatever I mentioned here already configured. Okay, so let me configure the routers. And also one more thing, so in between the routers, as I have taken only one link, I'm going to configure this as a sub interfaces, and I will configure separate IPs for each and every VRF. So we'll get idea once we start configuring it. See, here it is a router 1. Let me configure one IP address and interface Ethernet 1/0 IP address. It is 192.168.1.1. 255.255.255.0 as a subnet mask and giving no shutdown command. Let's see now. It's come up and show IP interface brief. Can verify it's already configured now, and we can see it will appear in the global routing table. Okay, so like this, whatever we configure or any routing protocol also configured, it will reflect in the global routing table. Okay, now, but our requirement is we have to maintain separate routing table, right? So for example, I will configure the another interface also, Ethernet 1/1, and I will show you. Configure interface Ethernet 1/1, IP address 172.17.1.1, 255.255.255.0. They give the command no shutdown. See now, show IP interface brief. See both IP address configured and show IP route. So this is the global routing table, and there is no separation. Okay, IP address basically separated, but so it is showing under one routing table. So let me configure the VRFs and keep them separately. Okay, config T. First, we have to configure VRF. We have to enable the VRF thing globally. VRF definition, I'm going to create production one. Okay. Also, we have to enable the address family. Okay. Address family IPv4. Let me back and let me configure the interface Ethernet 1/1 for production. So VRF forwarding PROD. Check here. Once I hit enter, It is showing like this: interface Ethernet 1/1 IPv4 disabled and addresses removed due to enabling VRF. So if we enable the VRF and an interface, it will remove the existing IP address details. So we should make sure we have to give the IP address again. Otherwise, it will remove the IP and will get confused. So for example, we configure the VRF and check the show IP interface brief. See here, IP got disappeared. So we should make sure once we configure the VRF on a working interface, we must configure the IP address. First, we have to note down the IP address. After that, we have to configure the VRF. Then we have to reconfigure the IP address. Or we have to configure the VRF first. Then we have to assign the IP address. So let me assign the IP address to that interface. Okay. 172.17.1.1 255.255.255.0. Okay, give a command. No shutdown is required. No, it's not required. Okay, let me verify. Show IP route. It's not there in the global routing table. Show IP interface brief. It's there in this interface verification. It shows 172.171.1. And to check the separated routing table, show IP route VRF PROD. See here, it's available here in the separate routing table. And one more thing I have to show you. So we must actually, VRF name is a case sensitive. For example, if you give like this, it will not show. So make sure VRF name is case sensitive. Okay, PROD. So you can see here. In similar way, we configure the remaining interfaces on router 1 T. Okay, this is configured now, and I'm going to create one separate sub interface, and let me attach that interface to production VRF. Okay, interface for this interface Ethernet 1/11.1 VRF forwarding prod IP address 1.1.1.1 255.255.255.0. Okay, let me configure IP routing LAN subinterface is only allowed. Okay, let me do that first. Interface, fast interface, Ethernet 1/7. No switch. No. Okay. Let me check this. Okay, now submit. Just enabling encapsulation to create a sub interface. Encapsulation .1q native, and then I can give VRF forwarding prod and IP address 1.1.1.1 255.255.255.0. Okay, so no shutdown. Let's come back and check show IP interface brief. Okay, got created, but it's showing down because main interface isn't shut down. Ethernet 1/7 no shutdown. Okay, short interface brief. You can see this is up now, and show IP route. This is global routing table. It's not there, and show IP route VRF prod. Let's check here, whatever we configured here is appearing here. Okay, in similar way I will configure for development network in router 1. Okay, so let me enable VRF definition dev address family IPv4. Back to the interface Ethernet 1/0 VRF forwarding dev. Already we configured the IP address, it got removed, and I'm going to configure it again. Okay, let me verify the interface now. Let me verify the routing table. It's gone now because it was there in the global routing table before configuring the VRF and before mapping the VRF. Now we can see this route in development VRF. Okay, so in similar way, let me configure the another sub interface and attach to this VRF. Config T interface Ethernet 1/7.2 encapsulation .1q292. This is basically to create the sub interface, and we had to give this command for tagging purpose. Okay, so let me configure VRF forwarding dev and the IP address 2.2.2.1 255.255.255.0. Keep the command no shutdown. It's not necessary, but just let me do it. We have configured the two PCS interfaces and two sub interfaces assigned to accordingly. Okay, show IP route. This is global routing table, nothing is there, and this is for prod. Okay, show IP route prod. Oh, it's not there. How is it? Show running. Let me check VRF definition prod, right? Okay, show IP route VRF prod. Okay, I forgot the command VRF I have. Okay, so let's check it. So it's a prod VRF routing table. The similar way dev routing table. We can see two separate routing tables for each and every department. This is basically we done in the router 1, and let me configure this in router 2. Okay, configure T VRF definition prod address family IPv4, and let me create this development VRF also. Address family IPv4. Let me configure the interface Ethernet 1/1 VRF forwarding prod, and the IP address 172.17.2.1 255 dot 255.255.0. No shutdown. let me configure interface Ethernet 1/0. Sorry, interface Ethernet 1/0. IP address, it is 192.168.2.1, 255.255.255.0 is a subnet mask, and give the command. Oh, I'm sorry, I need to enable the VRF, right? VRF forwarding. This is for dev. IP will be removed, and let me configure the IP again. Perfect. Now we configure these two interfaces, and let me configure this sub interface now. Interface Ethernet 1/7. I can give no shadow, and interface 7.1 encapsulation .1Q1 native, and VRF forwarding prod, IP address 1.1.1.2 255.255.255.0, and then let me configure .2, and this is for dev. Okay, let me do this encapsulation 2, and this is for VRF forwarding dev. Then IP address 2.2.2.2 255.255.255.0. Okay, perfect. Show IP interface brief. Let me verify 1/0 having 192.2.1, and then at 1/1 having 172.17.2.1. Perfect. And here it is 1.1.2, okay, 2.2.2. Let me verify the same thing here. Show IP interface brief. So here we have 192.168.1.1, this one, and 172.17.1.1, and this one. So 1.1.1 and 2.2.1 on this. Okay, let me check both the routers are pinging or not. And at 1.1.2, okay, it should ping. Oh, okay, there's some issue. Let me ping 1.1.1.1. That's the thing, because the route for this, it is not available under global configuration. Show IP route. That is the reason it is not pinging. Let me ping with VRF. Ping VRF prod 1.1.1.1. Perfect. 1.1.1.2. Perfect. So let me verify another router. Ping 2. Okay. Ping VRF dev 2.2.2.1 self IP, and the next hop IP. Perfect. These are all pingable now. These are all in separate routing table. Show IP route VRF prod, VRF dev. Again, I wanna show you. For example, if you give like this, it will not show because VRF name is case sensitive. Okay, perfect now. And now I'm going to test it from PC1. So PC1 having IP 192.168.1.10, and the gateway is 1.1. Let me ping the gateway. Ping 192.168.1.1. Perfect. Gateway is pinging. Let me try to ping the another PC 192.168.2.1 will it ping. Now destination host unreachable. Why? Because we don't have a routing entry in this router 1 for that 192.168.2.1 because we did not configure any route, any routing protocol or configured here, so it will not work. So let me enable OSPF to communicate these pieces. Okay, so as of now, if you can see in production network, show IP route VRF prod. This is in router 1. We can see 1.1.1 network. It is connected to other router, and 172 dot network. It is connected to PC, and 172.17.1.1. It is completely related to router 1 PC and this interface. But if you want to communicate to router 2 PCs like this production network, it will not communicate because this IP, for example, PC4 IP, but it is 172.7.2.0. It is not available in the routing table. In similar way, for development network, if you can see, just now we tried it from PC1. See PC1 192.168.1.1. This route is available and it is directly connected to that interface, and it is a gateway of that PC. It's pingable. But we tried 192.168.2.1 also, but it is not available in this routing table. So that is the reason it is not pingable from the PC1, because we don't have a route to that. It is sitting in another router, and we don't have a routes to that, and vice versa. From there also we don't have a route to this PC3 and PC1. Example prod, it's having two network like 172.17.2 network, and for dev we have configured only one, and we need to configure another PC also. We have to configure this one also. We forgot that. Let me configure first. Interface Ethernet 1/0. VRF forwarding dev IP address 192.168.2.1 no shutdown. Okay, so show IP route VRF dev. Okay, now it is available in this routing table, but it will not reflect in this router. Okay, make sure, because just now a configuration you may get doubt like just now it is configured, that's the reason it was not pingable, but no, not like that. So you can see this now also, it will not ping. Okay, because we don't have a route in the router one. Okay, let me to communicate, to make this possible, this communication, we have to configure routing protocol or default routes, something. So I'm going to configure OSPF to communicate these PCs. I mean, from PC1 to PC2 and PC3 to PC4. Also, you can observe in routing table, the routes will be appear. Okay. Let me configure it separately. Config T router OSPF VRF OSPF1 VRF prod. Okay, just simply I'm advertising redistribute connected. Okay, we can use network command also, we can use network command and advertise the routes, but instead of doing that, I'm simply redistributing all the connected routes. Okay, only classful subnets will be, it is showing like that. So we can see no auto summary. Okay, it may not work. Okay, so no problem. Let me configure the network 192.168.1.0, and the wildcard mask is 0/0/0/0255. Perfect. And area 0. Okay, so let me configure the another network. 72.17.1.0. Perfect. And another network, that 7. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, let me remove this dot. Perfect. Now I configured these PCs, this PC and this interface, also this sub interface attached to this OSPF. Okay, so let me configure the same thing in router 2 to make the communication possible from PC1 to PC2, and also we can see some routes once we advertised. Okay, let me finish this and show you. Config T IP route OSPF P route router OSPF, and here we can see process ID is 1. Then we can say VRF. This is for dev, right? Did we configure it correctly? This is for dev, right? Configure. Okay. Configured in different way. Actually, we have to do it. The production network. Okay. Let me reconfigure it. No problem. No router OSPF 1 VRF prod. Okay, let me reconfigure it. No problem. Dev and advertise these routes one by one. Okay, so here we have to use 2.2.2 because we used for dev network, we used 2.2.2 range. Let me, rest of all good. Okay, only 192.168.1.0 we had to configure, and no need to configure this. Okay, so let me show you the clear configuration. See here, I am configured it for dev and advertise 2.2.0 network and the 192.168.1.0 network. Okay, so let me do the same here. SPF dev network 2.2.2.0 and area 0. Okay, and this is 192.168.2.0. the area should be 0. Okay, let me show you. Show IP route. It's formed now. Let me check. Show IP OSPF. Even can verify it now. See here, it's up now, and the VRF is down. Okay, so let me show you. Show IP route VRF dev. Now you can see in the router 1, we can see in the router 2, we can see router 1's networks. Okay, in router 1, we can see the router 2's network. Perfect. So let me try to ping from PC1 to PC2 now. Yeah, it is pinging now because we have a routing table and it is pinging now. Okay. In similar way, let me configure the OSPF for production network. Okay, prod config T and give the command router OSPF, and let me try to configure with the same value and see. VRF specifier does not match the existing router. That's the thing. Let me change it. See here. So we should maintain the separate instance for each and every one. Okay. Let me configure network 1.1.1.0 0.0.0.255 area 0. So area can be same, and this will be 172.17.1.0 and area should be 0. So basically here we can show run section OSPF. We can verify this two different OSPF instance. Here we configure for development dev VRF. Here we configure for prod. In similar way, we are going to configure here config T router OSPF instance number 2 and VRF prod. Okay, so let me configure the network at 1.0 255. Sorry, we have to give wildcard mask and area 0. Let me configure 172 network 72.17.2.0. Okay, so let me show you show run section OSPF. Here you can see the separate instances and two OSPF instances we are running here for each and every VRF. Okay, here you can compare. Okay, so now we should be able to ping from PC1 to PC2 and from PC3 to PC4. Okay, so before that, let me show you show IP route. It's a global routing table. There's nothing. Show IP route VRF prod. This is the production networks VRF and the separate routing table. And this is for dev networks routing table. Let me show you the same here. Show IP route. Nothing here. Show IP route VRF prod. This is for dev. Okay, so now you can see separate routing tables. Production network, we have something 172.17.1, 2, all these things. And dev, we cannot see that 172 network here. You can clearly observe. And we have 192.168.network. The similar way you can observe here. Okay, so now let me try from PC1. Already we tried this. That's pinging. From PC2 to PC1 also should be ping. Ping 192.168.1.1. Should ping now. Perfect. From PC3, this is the okay. Just we are trying to raise the gateway here. Observe, right? Okay, perfect. Now we have to try to ping PC. This is actually the PC IP. We try to ping the gateway IP as of now, but this is the PC IP. Okay, so let me ping. This is the PC IP, right? Okay, the PC1 IP is 192.168.1.10. Perfect, it's reachable. Now from PC3 IP is this is 172.17.1.10 and PC4 IP 172.17.2.10. Okay, so we are going to ping this IP from PC3. Basically from PC3 he is here, from here to here we are going to ping. Okay, ping 172.17.1.2.10. Perfect, it's reachable. Let me ping from there. Ping 172.17.1.10. Perfect. So from here to here it is reachable, and here to here it is reachable, and vice versa. So let me check from PC1 to PC4. Will it ping? No, as because we are having the separate routing table, it will not ping, but let me show you. 2.10. See here. Destination host is unreachable. Like this. Now the configuration is completed. We have configured everything to VRFs separately and to OSPF instances separately, and now it is PC1 to PC2 communication is happening, and PC3 to PC4 communication happening separately. There is no interchange routings, and there is no conflict. Even we can use similar IPs from here and here also, no problem, because we have a separate routing table. So this is the thing, friends. So I will upload this type of videos on a regular basis. So if you want to encourage me, so please subscribe, and please advise which type of videos you require. So I'm ready to make them for you. Thank you so much for watching.